Here is a quick getting started with Powtoon. So once you've signed in to your account, you're going to go ahead and press this big blue button to create a new awesome presentation. So you're probably for this project going to just want to start with a blank one. If there's a template there that looks like it'll work for your project, you can choose it. Just make sure you're not using one of the premium ones. But to get started with a blank one, which is what I'm going to use right now, just press the edit button. So once that loads, you'll see that by default you have 3 slides to begin with. You can add more or you can delete some using these buttons right here. So to get started, here's our first slide, and here's our timeline of events. Each slide by default is 10 seconds long. Again, we can adjust that, but we'll get into that in a minute. So then you have a variety of options for what you want to place on your slide. To get started, I'm just going to add some text. So if you press this More button, you'll see the different text effects that you have. You can have plain text, you can have it handwriting your text, you can have word by word pop up, and various other options here. So I'm going to just do the handwriting, so I'm going to pull that in just like that. You double click to edit. And then when you're done, you just press apply. So here is my intro. I can move it around to where I wanted it on my screen, and you'll see that when I move this bar back to the beginning and press play, it hands right, here is my intro. Okay, so you can see that here is how it's going to play my slide. So again, I'm going to go back to the beginning. And what else do I want to add? I might want to add one of these characters that they have here. So here's this man standing. I'm going to put him in the corner over here. Now, you'll see down here that I have the man standing and I have the words coming in. And if I go back to the beginning and I press play, you'll see that the man is standing there and then I have some intro text. But what if I want to change the order of things happening? Say that I want it to handwrite right from the beginning, but I want the man to actually come in around 2 seconds, like this. So let me show you what I've just done. Press play. It writes and then the man comes in. So how I've done that is when I click the handwriting, you'll see that it starts at 0 seconds, but when I click on the man, you'll see I started him at 2 seconds. Now I can also change where he comes in from. It was a little distracting that he came in from the left. So I just click that little arrow and I could have made him come in from the right. And now let me bring it back to the beginning, press play. Here is my intro. That's a little less distracting. Okay, so then you have a whole bunch of other options to choose from. You have these image holders over here, and those are just like if you wanted to put in a YouTube video, for instance, you could have the little player screen and then put the YouTube video within it just to make it look kind of fancy. And then you have some characters. Those are just some characters that they have there, like this man standing there. You can use them, but you can also bring in your own pictures, so don't worry too much about that. For the animations are actually these guys doing something. The only way to add animations is to use their little guys. And they don't have a ton of options, so this may or may not work for your project. So here is somebody playing the guitar, and you'll see that he comes in around 4.5 seconds. Again, I can adjust that, or it might just work perfectly for my project. So see, I can just move it around to make it start at a different time or to make the length of how long he's playing longer or shorter. The next option here are just some prompts. So again, they have some clip art type things there that may or may not be useful. Now markers would give you the ability to kind of point something out. Maybe I want to circle something like this in my presentation. And so let me show you what that looks like. Bring it back to the beginning. And so that's what that would look like. I would need to play with that animation because the timing was clearly off on that. Maybe have it fade in. Let's see what that looks like. That probably looked a little bit better. So you just have to play with it. Then there's some shapes that are in there. Transitions transition you from one slide to another. So if I want to put a transition between slide 1 and slide 2, for instance, you just pull it in to slide 1. So pull into slide 1, you'll see applies the transition between slide 1 and slide 2. Let me just quickly put something on this slide so I can show you what that looks like. So let me go back to slide 1, play it back from the very beginning, press play. And there's my little squeegee transition between the two. You also have the ability to add in a background. So say I want a red background there, or I can even add an image as background. So if I pulled that in, for instance, I can either search from my library, so you could upload a file, or you can just do a media search and search within Flickr. Once you find the image that you want, you would just press this Insert Image button like this, and it would insert it into your project just like that. So those are the basics of what is on the right of your screen over here. Now, I told you at the beginning that, 10 seconds for a slide might be too long, might be too short. To adjust that, you just use these arrows over here. I can make it like 8 seconds that first slide draws in, or I can make it more, like 12 seconds, depending on how long I wanted to spend on slide 1. After that, some other things that you'll want to know are sound. So import sound is going to be a way to do a voiceover for your entire project. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to create your entire project, and then you'll want to record your voice at the end. So you can record right within here just by pressing the little red arrow to record. You do need to allow there in order to record, and the first time you record, another little allow button might pop up right here at the top that you have to press allow again. So the first time you do it, you probably have to press allow 2 times. So once you are recording, you know that you're recording because this is counting up right here. So I've been recording this whole time. Once I'm done, I would just hit the stop button. It will do its thing, and then you would press apply when you're done with that. To know that your audio track is actually there, you'll visually see it right here on your timeline. You can see that my audio track is showing up there. As well, you can put a music track. You can put a voiceover and a music track. Just make sure that if you're doing this, your music track, you might want to make it a little bit softer so that you can still hear your voice. And you can adjust the voice to be louder and the music track to be softer if you want. To add in any of your own images at any time, you just press that image button and you can add in your own image instead of using the clip art images that they have over here. So once you're done with your project, you can go ahead and save it. And then at any time, when you go back to powtoon.com, so if I just go back to powtoon.com, if I click on dashboard, that's where I can get back to my project. I can keep working on it by pressing the edit button right there, and it will take me to my project that I'm working on. Once I'm done, and you will have specific instructions for this, when you're done with your entire project, you'll just hit this little drop down arrow, you will assign it to the group, and then you'll assign it to your class group that you have. And that should be about it to get you started. Hope this helps and hope you have fun with the project.